Hey everybody, welcome to the Quick and Slow Comedy Show. I'm Aaron Maslow, the web fucker. I don't know. Today's a great episode. Matt Alladine, long lost friend of the show, is back in Edmonton. He's going to hang out with Nick and Jamie and Tom. They're going to be talking to chef and comedian Dave Husereau. Holy guacamole, is this a good show, because Dave is going to be talking about all sorts of stuff. First of all, market economics, okay? That's the kind of thing we need to hear on the show. We're going to talk about how he's okay with not being a great comic, but that he knows he's funny. That's important. And he's going to be talking about his little stint at Fred's Farm Supply. Not the first time, not his second time, but maybe even his third time working there. And if you're interested, you should check out our friend Dan Clark's website. That's northerncontent.com. He's got a great thing going on there. He's got all the podcasts from Northern Canada, which is just this one. You guys are going to enjoy this show. Nick is really going to talk about the science behind comedy, and that there's too much art to be taught, but it's something that you can learn throughout your life. I think that's really important when Nick talks, that we all listen, because he's an enigma, a puzzle. Anyway, enjoy the show. Thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you, or I don't know, whatever. Leave a comment or share with your friends. We'll talk to you that way. Yeah, that sounds great. Okay.
Going around the room, though, Tom, how you doing? You just finished an album, didn't you?
Oh, that was a couple of months ago. I was recording a...
Well, you need to keep me in the loop.
I apologize. I was recording a rockabilly album for a friend. I believe it's up for Juno next year. So
dynamite.
We'll
outstanding.
We'll see if it. Wow, it hasn't. It's in the pile to be nominated. So
we'll see how it goes.
If the panel of people that do that sort of thing nominate it, then
The people panel. Awesome. So it's up for the opportunity to be nominated.
Yeah. So is mine.
Yeah, me too.
I've never sang a song in my life, but it's also up for the opportunity to be nominated on that same pile.
I'd imagine you do like a Freebird or a Journey, possibly.
I can hammer
Isn't
Journey.
that when you have your balls out or something?
Yeah, the Freebird Journey. It's where your balls are out.
Just the foreskin.
Yep.
There's gum stuck to my pants.
And Jamie, you and me, we went to some sort of a philosophy class or something this morning.
Yeah, I learned that horse girls are old too. There are old horse girls as well as young horse girls. And the guy's hair in front of me was really bothersome, but I did win some really neat coasters.
Yeah, we went to a podcast seminar. If you guys ever have the opportunity to do that, don't. There's much better use of your time.
It was good information for people that, don't have the information, but we already had a lot of the information.
Google.
Yeah.
When you're on your way there, just drive into traffic.
Exactly.
You'll have such much better use of your time.
Yep.
You might meet a nice ambulance driver or something.
You can go there, or you can just smash your head into the pavement 5 times.
Nice.
Either way,
so many
you're
gifts
going to be an
today.
hour.
I can put one of my gifts on top of one of my other gifts.
Oh, no kidding, right?
Look,
Your
what?
cup runneth over.
Yeah, she got a
Literally.
coaster and wine.
Every day is a gift.
Oh, and over there is Matt Alladine joining us on remote from Vancouver. How you doing?
Good. Is this the thing or is this the pre-show?
Hey, I'm with you on that. I got roped into the same scenario.
All the thing is the thing.
Because when it's the thing, I'll shut up. But if it's the pre-show, I'll make quips.
Feel free to quip anything you got to add to the show.
Oh, my coasters.
But the question stands: is this the quick and the slow? Or...
Don't make me ignore your question 3 times.
All right, whatever.
And joining us in studio today, all the way from small town Alberta, coming out here, sharing some of the funny. TV's David Husereau.
Hi, everybody.
He owns a TV.
I have more than one, and I can prove it.
Wow.
Whoa.
You have the receipts right now.
Indeed, I do. Carry them around. Actually, I just take pictures of the receipts, and I can just show them to girls on my phone. You know what I mean? And I wedge those in between pictures in my bag. You're okay. Listen, we've never had this conversation, Jamie. We're so good. Like if I get a little randy and stuff like that, we're like
I hang out with comics.
That's okay. That's what I wanted to hear. That's just what I wanted to hear. That's what I wanted to hear. Thank you. And the next thing you know, she's calling her lawyer over something I said about my hemorrhoid having a hemorrhoid.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? I don't have a fucking lawyer.
No, and I don't have and I don't have hemorrhoids.
And
I just tell James he's my lawyer, and then he says, no, I'm not.
I think legally he has to say that, or he is. I believe that's the Rook's Law. What? Chess law back in the day. If you claim somebody's your lawyer and they aren't your lawyer, then they have to queen you? In the King's Court.
That sounds
And they move in the L,
awful
right?
homosexual.
Yeah.
They move in the L?
That's how it works.
That's the knight.
That's the horse,
Knight.
right? Horse.
What is
Knight.
the one that looks like
Why is a knight a
penis
horse?
with smegma on it? Which one is that?
That's the bishop.
That's the bishop. Thank you, Matt.
Smegma. There's a lot of...
I got sitting Google next to me right here. This is beautiful.
I actually have Google open already.
Maddie over here is an endless well of information. It's perfect. Just the biggest hard drive you've ever seen in your life.
Actually, I guess I'm kind of fortunate because you guys both had cooking shows.
Is that right?
Yeah.
No kidding. I didn't know that.
Matt had
Oh, yeah, no, you knew about...
cooking for
you
two
saw
for
the-
one.
You saw the poster that time.
Oh, that's right. Okay, pardon
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Two gourmet chefs.
Oh, yeah. World class. Right here.
Didn't even play.
Except for, like, the world's... The world kind of started ruining Matt's thing by fucking doing all the stoner treats and, like, making them readily available to the public.
Right, right.
At fast food joints and shit.
Indeed.
Like, they ruined... When I was stoned, like, many years ago, I was like, I'm gonna roll up a hot dog and a pizza. And I fucking did. And I felt like a genius. And then Pizza Hut is all just like, we have hot dogs in our crust now. I mean, you assholes.
Isn't there better meat to put in a pizza?
Right.
Yeah,
It's
but,
just
like, how
tubed
stone...
bologna
Like,
is fuck-
that's,
is
like,
what I
the
think.
stoneriest thing ever. I know, bologna... I was always saying bologna is just like a big hot dog sliced up.
It is. It absolutely. But that fry a slice of bologna and you got yourself an afternoon. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
For real. What's his name? He's got a whole bit on fried bologna. What's his bucket there? KT Wilson.
Kate Trevor Wilson, yeah.
Yeah, that's his whole go-to is eating the bologna face.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You got to let it cool a bit or you get a little burning, you know?
Yeah.
Society may have pre-opted one or two of my recipes, but they have yet to capture the spirit of my show.
That's true. That is true.
Nailed it. He's You see, the thing is, too, about bologna, and people don't understand, it's actually a version of Leoner sausage, right? When a Leoner sausage is just a finely minced, mix of beef, pork, other sausage fillings and what like this. But when you actually get good Leoner, like by Fryby or something like that, it's delicious. It's wonderful. It's such a good sausage.
I had no idea that's how you pronounced it.
Well, originally that's where, but it was bologna. It's a bastardization of Leoner sausage, but then they just bologna from bologna. Yeah.
And is that what they put in the spaghetti sauce?
No, they don't.
Bologna is sauce?
No, bolognese. No, it's just it's pure coincidence.
Bologna is sauce, right?
It's bolognese, but he's right. It is a bit of a coincidence. Spelled so it's crazy. He brings up bolognese. I was shopping today. When any guy comes to cook for a gal that doesn't know how to cook, he always goes to the go-to spaghetti bolognese, right?
Yeah.
But it comes right down to that's a pretty fucking complicated dish. Do you know what I mean? In the worlds of cooking, that's a lot of I cook for a living. I don't know if you're getting this right now.
I picked
I
up
don't know how
what you're
compli-
putting down.
I don't know how complicated that dish is, right? For like $2, you get a big thing of spaghetti, and for like $1 or $2, you get the big can of bolognese sauce. Just cook them together. That's 2 steps.
Then you
See,
pretend...
right there, you effed it up. That's the thing too.
You don't cook them together. You make the spaghetti, you boil spaghetti, get it wet, you throw it in a fridge until it sticks, and then you have to drain the water.
No, see, here's the thing. That's if you want it to be saucy and wet.
Like to be
But
edible.
if you boil it in the bolognese goes right into the noodle, and you get yourself a red noodle, sir.
Red noodle.
It looks like
Bolognese and water, boil that up, and when there's no more wetness...
But what if
then
I don't have time to, or water?
And if I'd like this actual girl to digest this meal I'm cooking for her at some point, I don't want her to shit out raw noodles and wreck her interior bowel
This
system.
all sounds a lot like
You know?
prolapse.
Right?
Now, you don't
she's
want to
walking
drink
out-
too much, because then she's not ready to bang. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
She needs a bag of frozen peas to sit on because your fucking spaghetti pink socked everything's so bad.
Man, get her out of the kitchen into the bedroom. That's where I keep all my colanders.
She has to limit her road travel to 5 miles at a time. That's all she can take.
You serve her your meal with a hemorrhoid cushion.
Yeah, absolutely. A big donut. You're sitting there just pumping it up at the table as she's eating the spaghetti. She goes, "What's that for? Shut up."
You have a present for her after. She opens up and it's a box of Anusol.
Medicated wipes.
Oh.
Medicated wipes.
I'd like it to be the shape of a Tiffany's box, but I know the shape of butt medication boxes far too well.
That's good insight there, though. Oh man, but
Oh, so where were we? We were talking about the exploding rectum spaghetti recipe of Maddie's. Is that right?
yeah,
Sounds amazing. I'll Google that. I think it's on epicurious.com. I think it's one of Bon Appetit's features this month.
yeah, it's fully simulated sawdust pushing. Everyone, for the audience at home right now, we're going to edit this out. We're all sharing Doritos.
Everybody gets their own bag.
They're quite amazing as well.
But
where are we at? We were at the spaghetti. So anyways, yeah, the actual spaghetti. I was walking around. I'm like, if a dude's going to cook a meal, that's a lot of moving parts. Do you know what I mean? You got to brown meat. You got to mince up onion, mince up garlic if you want to do it correctly. Cook the pasta. That's a separate moving part. Grate your cheese.
I get the pre-minced garlic. It's or diced.
Yeah.
I like that stuff.
I just
We all
eliminate
do.
that.
I like no effort.
I cut my own onions though.
Yeah.
I like a nice kind of a purple onion.
I don't saute with purple onions.
You don't saute with
Never.
purple onions?
Never.
What are you, white?
White, Bermuda, Maui's.
Bermuda onion.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know. I love the purple onion. I don't know what it is.
I like them in salads.
Good
And
for
then the
that.
pasta as well. And the spaghetti, you know what I mean? If I'm going to do spaghetti bolognese, I'll go with some angel hair as well. You know?
Oh.
And when you
keeping
angel
it
hair,
light.
you got to cook it so fast, right? You got to just drop it in that boiling water, stir it around, yank it out right away, and hit it with the cold stuff.
Yeah, it's done.
Yeah.
I used
And
to
yeah, you hit it with the cold
think
stuff, you get the starch off. Otherwise, you
100%.
get that. Yeah,
100%,
So
man.
many people don't do that. So
Dude.
many people, they just pour it in a strainer, let it sit, and then put the tomato sauce on. They don't realize just like how much taste you can get. Just get the starch off of it.
So a little background, like cooking a long time, cooked my whole life around the world, blah blah blah. But I am so not above making like a fucking 8x8 tray of nachos like I did this afternoon on my fucking like just covered my coffee table.
Yeah.
Like it was just like different real estate. It represented like I can't do that. Thank you. Though.
That's fucking beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. Minced up, like grilled off chicken that I had marinated, and it was
Wow.
just obscene. And then I'm just a single zilch eating it by myself, so I take out like this pie chart, and the rest just represents lonely, I guess.
Are you kidding? When I
It's
used
just a constant reminder how shitty everything's gone for me.
Yeah.
You know what
I
mean?
used to do
I have
the-
the enthusiasm of and swagger of a call, nothing else. Really seem to be having a good time though. I can't wait for this whole thing to come down where it's like somebody puts a flashlight in my face going, it shouldn't be having this much fun. I'm like, well, I really am, you know.
well,
Anyhow.
you know what? Fuck, man, that's just the man trying to get you down.
I think if you looked at the poster of the man, I probably, you know what I mean? I'm 46 white, single straight male.
Yeah, you're
that's
like-
pretty much the
You're
man. You
You're
know what
like
I mean?
a 6'2", like 210 pound white dude.
Yeah.
No, but you're
Yeah.
not like church going with 4 shitty children and a
No,
wife that you don't love.
No, he has 7 shitty children. You're good.
I got 2 beautiful children. I actually have 8 kids, but only 2 are beautiful. I love that.
None are legitimate.
I love that setup. I do that stupid joke on stage.
My dad only has 2 kids, and I'm sure he says the same thing.
And I tell the other ones who they are, and they're gonna find out anyway.
But it's like I feel like no, but you know what I mean, like the classic American dream life.
Your shirt has to be tucked in.
Yeah, your shirt's got to be tucked in. You
That should be
gotta
truly
live
white.
with your wife and hate her. And she definitely has to hate you, and you have to mow your lawn all the time.
Every day. Well, my lawn would be my focus too.
Yeah,
My
it's
lawn
like you
would
got to
be
be
my focus.
like,
Are we talking about pubes?
Hank Hill.
yeah, but richer.
Yeah.
The full American dream is richer.
Oh,
than
I'm
Hank Hill.
still in that money trap. I still need a lot of money to live. I don't deny that.
Oh,
I
that's
think that the
fine.
more money you
Yeah.
get, the more money it takes to live. Because your comfort rises with your pay.
It's a comfort and it's a nut thing too. It's absolute truth.
Your
Like
ball sack?
yeah, ball sack. But your monthly nut. It's a constant wheel, right?
yeah.
And like you think about guys even have yacht, like you know when you have some assets and stuff like this, all of a sudden you get a yacht. Fuck, you gotta have. Is the captain banging my
fucking
wife? Is the
Yeah.
guy fucking filtering money? It's just another thing. You know, it's another screen open in your mind.
more money,
right?
more problems.
And
Yeah, I can't believe the Democrats in America want to give $15 to McDonald's employees. They have enough problems without more money, more problems. If anything, we should lower it to $4 an hour so they can finally be happy.
Exactly.
There should
Happy with Happy Meals.
There should be no minimum wage. Market lands where market lands. That's just the way it is.
And it will land in China.
Listen, if you think somebody's going to produce a McDonald's hamburger for $1 an hour, you're wrong. If somebody thinks they're going to pay $20 an hour, you're wrong. Market lands where market lands.
See, the strange thing is, like, me coming from a trades background, like, there's a wage that they have to pay a skilled laborer. It's set by the government. But that isn't always what it is. Some places pay more, some pay a lot more. So you have to figure out what you're worth and how good you are at it, and then go out and find it. So you're constantly looking for where
minimum wage also shouldn't be a livable wage. That's the thing too. That's a wage. That's the thing too. And I can appreciate how, I'm going to get eyeballs and all this sort of thing. And that's fine. But I feel comfortable in defending what are you eating? The position.
What am I eating? I'm eating a pen. No, it's licorice.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm just licorice. I don't expect everyone to believe how I believe. I'm like total like a bleeding heart hippie. So
the thing
but
is,
it's like I don't scorn you for your views.
No, but the thing is, I try to be hyper pragmatic, and what I try to mean by that is just all things being equal, taking the sample size from what I've seen. Because in some sense, I think that in some ways that I've got something advanced up here, I'm atrophied in the other, and the emotional side is probably atrophied quite a bit. And I think that allows me to make sometimes more rational decisions on occasion because there isn't a ton of emotion involved. I don't have any children. I don't have any dogs in the fight. When I leave, I leave. And I don't care about most of this. No, I don't care about any of it. So my opinions are just that, without caring, and stuff, and all things being equal is the way I only see it.
Well, for me, it's strange because when I'm asked to speak on something like women's issues or racism or anything, I can only speak from my point of view, so it kind of limits my experience. But in doing so, I always make certain that I address that immediately. So when people are like, oh, what do you think on minimum wage? I can go like, well, honestly, I don't think I've ever made minimum wage in my life, so I don't know, but here's an opinion on it. But that being said, I really haven't walked a mile in that guy's shoes or a kilometer in Canada. So my opinion on it, I feel is
in that one. Yeah, I worked for 35 at Fred's Farm Supply back about 1,000
1762
1,000 years ago.
Yeah, but that's when you could see a movie and get a Hershey bar for $0.25.
That's right. Actually, yeah, probably.
So you were actually.
But listen.
So actually, $20 an hour is more equivalent to.
I was still on disability.
Which is true. That's 100% true.
Yeah.
If minimum wage was on track from back then, we would be at $17 an hour right now.
If that was actually not even close, but I had
no, that sounds about right. You got to watch more Bill Maher.
That's exactly right. That's where you guys get your information from?
I get it from a lot of places, but they always have a lot of good senators, politicians. So you hear the Republican numbers and you hear the Democratic numbers,
right.
And then the next week they correct any miscommunication.
Well, that's interesting.
They say, just so you know, someone was on here, and I obviously didn't have Google, when the senator from whatever state said that like 10% whatever under
right.
Obama, it's actually 17. Those are the numbers, those are the facts.
Anyways, I made $3.35 an hour when I was 14 years old at Fred's Farm Supply.
Yeah?
Spent it all on chocolate.
Yeah.
As a fat kid. I'm serious. I spent it all on chocolate.
Farm Supply.
Fred's Farm Supply. The first time I got fired from there, I set a car on fire by accident.
First time you got fired?
Yeah. Sorry, Jamie.
Set a car on fire.
I set a car on fire by accident. This is back in the days, like if you watch old timey movies, when you'd put oil in the engines, they would have like a spear, like sort of like a nozzle you'd have to hammer into the tin, and then you put it up over the manifold, and it would pour into the engine.
Yeah.
So I was getting to be a bit of a hot. I was about 13 at the time. So, I've been working there a couple months during the summer. I've had the shit figured out in my mind.
Oh,
no. This truck comes off just smoking hot off the highway. Put in a quart of oil. So I stab this thing. I don't get the nozzle all the way into the tin.
Fuck.
I kind of flip it up on the thing, go to fill up his gas, and don't realize, and it spilled all oil all over his manifold.
Oil on an exhaust manifold is a fire.
Yeah, and it caught the whole engine on fire. It caught like the interior of the hood on, like it caught the whole truck on fire.
Fuck.
So I'm 13, so I see like the bucket with the windshield washing fluid and all that bullshit, and I grab it and I'm like, I'm gonna hammer this guy's truck with this. Smash cut. 2 seconds later, Fred of Fred's Farm Supply comes flying. No! With a fucking fire extinguisher. So he fired me that day, but he needed a guy, so he called me back in a week.
Fired
that guy. I go to check this guy's van's oil, And I know his oil is fine, so I slam his hood down, but I didn't slam it down far enough. So he goes back onto the highway, and as soon as he hit like 80 kilometers an hour, his hood flapped up and took out his windshield. So fired twice from Fred's Farm
So
Supply
you're not,
in 2
you
weeks.
you didn't want to pursue a career as a mechanic?
That's when I started cooking the next week. I'm not even kidding. I started cooking the next week.
So from what I understand, you don't support the minimum wage because you think everyone is as shitty an employee as you.
Worse, absolutely.
Obviously
100%.
you should not have a minimum amount of money.
I set
but
the
like
bar
a
on how bad I
reasonable
was.
Person.
100%. Absolutely. I set the bar on how shitty an employee I was. No question about it.
And then how many, just to recap, because how many hours or days did you last before that first firing?
A couple months, about 2.5 months. Yeah.
So what did you like?
I was horrible.
No, but what did you make? At the end of the thing, at the end of the week, were you living high? Were you living large?
I was living with my parents. I was 13.
So that was all take home money. You spent it on chocolate. You were having a great time.
And Walkmans, yes.
Yeah, you had Walkmans. Wouldn't it have been better if you had a fucking record player?
But I didn't deserve it. I wasn't skilled labor.
Yeah, so you should have got fired a lot earlier.
100%.
And if they were paying $15 an hour, you would have got fired on the first day. They wouldn't have taken a shot with you, which is why we definitely need a minimum wage.
No minimum
Vote
wage.
for American Idol.
There is actually a third firing to Fred's Farm Supply. And I'm not even making this up. When I was 17, I got rehired by Fred's. I was playing a lot of hockey and stuff like this. I needed a part-time job. And Terry's Steak and Pizza, my original employer, where I was a grill cook, I'm a pretty good one at that by that point, just couldn't have me back. So I go to, and Fred's like, okay, go pump gas. You're 17. You got your shit together. And I didn't have my shit together. They fired me because my parents wouldn't fill up at Fred's. They'd go fill up at the Batteries because the Batteries went to the same church as us.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
100%. Because my parents, we were Catholic folk in Forestburg. And old Fred, he'd see going, what the hell's George Husereau doing going filling up at the Batteries place at the Petro can? And I'm like, hey, Pops, you're making it hot on me here. What the fuck? And he's like, hey, look, the Batteries go to the same church as us. I'm going to go fill up there if I want to fill up there. So Fred, fired me for the third time.
Small town politics, eh?
Goddamn right. That might have been the worst story in the history of your podcast.
Oh, no, we've had way worse.
Yeah.
Not much. That's a bottom, though.
Yeah, it's definitely not in the top.
Yeah.
It's definitely not in the top. Most boring thing you've said since you got here. But you gave me wine, so I'm forgiving it.
Oh, he's sweet.
I just feel like you gave me one. That just reminded me of some fucking Viking shit or whatever. I don't know.
Cool. I'll make sure to leave that in the final edit.
I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry.
So, but you're pretty new at stand-up comedy. You started about a year ago?
It's nice. No, I started yes, no.
Okay.
I started quite a while ago, but I haven't done it very much, I guess is the nice way.
Yeah.
Because I'm in restaurants as well, so I would take 6 to 8 months off at a time and then come back to Edmonton and do it for 4 months and then not be able to do it again.
I think it was about a year ago where I saw you coming out like pretty consistently, and you were coming out with your book and going up on stage. Mm-hmm. And now you've done a couple headlining spots. In fact, you're headlining this Tuesday show I'm hosting.
I'm going last. Let's not call it what it isn't.
So you're doing a long 5.
I'm doing an extended 10 with a little where do you do?
Book
What do
the
you
show
from?
short and squeeze me on.
Yeah, but with that, you've actually
I have no
improved.
illusions about my lack of ability.
You've improved
your
a lot.
ability
Like
is
you're
great.
not.
Whoa.
You're not great. You're no white chocolate Sterling Scott. But
Hang on. I'm funny. I got no problem saying that. I got no problem at all saying I'm funny.
Yeah.
But I'm not a good comic yet. And I have no problem saying that either. That takes skill.
Yeah.
Being funny you're born with. Got that for fucking miles. Okay?
Yeah.
Being a comic, completely different animal.
Yeah.
Completely different animal. And that's going to take me, I'm never going to get great at it. I've started too late. My brain I just don't have those neural pathways carved. And I get it. I'm fucking cool with that. But this is a blast. You have to tell people, make jokes. Fuck that.
Yeah.
How bad can this be?
It's the greatest job in the world. Hands down. I fucking love doing it. I was a little tardy the party starting in my 30s, but like, yeah, it's, you get where you're going. I mean, there are some people, Ken Hicks, he started comedy in his 50s. And we're waiting. He'll be funny soon.
350s?
Yeah, 350s. He'll be funny soon, but like he's making a lot of money doing it. So, I mean, there is success.
Well, what's your threshold of success? If you're just here to make like scrap cash, then we have different thresholds of success.
Oh,
like,
no.
That's not what it appeals like when people talk about successful comics. I want to fucking have a solid 10-minute, a solid 20-minute, a solid 45-minute. I want to be fucking known as a funny motherfucker when I hit that stage. Money follows that shit.
The respect to your peers is important then?
I got that already. I don't give a fuck.
The respect to the audience? What are you going for then?
Yeah, I want to be a funny motherfucker. I want to be automatic. Is exactly that. I want to be, as soon as I pull that mic out of the fucking stick, I want people to go, we're in for a fucking time. And I want them also to think we don't know what is going to come out of this asshole's mouth.
Yeah. Yeah, well...
and that's entertaining.
Yeah, you're making strides toward it so far, so you've definitely come a long way from where you started, so that's good. And, yeah, I mean, you've been on the road, you've seen other comics fuck other women in hotel rooms.
Grew up playing hockey. Who hasn't been around that?
Yeah, but with comedy, the attitude you've approached it with is something that is pretty... uncommon, and it really makes you stand out. Is you've been very successful in your life, like you said, played hockey, set trucks on fire.
That's a benchmark. Sure, okay.
But like most people, when they approach comedy, they come out, if they have any other tangential success as like an actor or writer or anything, they go in and they instantly expect to be recognized as talent or something. Whereas you've approached it with a lot of humility. And that's something very refreshing that I don't see in comedy a lot.
No, I appreciate that. I didn't realize that was the case, but thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are other comics, and I mean, I can name Emily Burdenall's show, who started comedy as an actor or actress, and then are like, oh, hey, guys, I'm great. Maybe you don't know. I've been doing acting for like 10 years, so I don't even have 5 minutes, but I'm going to start calling myself a headliner. And yeah, it's very refreshing and nice to actually see somebody who realizes it is a skill set and it's a different thing and it's something you have to work at and to like put in the legwork. Like you're one of the few comics in Edmonton that I see constantly out, and I realize like everybody's got their life, they got their own priorities, but you're constantly out. Like I would say,
I have a lot of catching up to do. I'm 46 for Christ's sakes. Seriously, you got guys, these young guys that are out there when they should be, and now. If this was hockey, it'd be too late to start, you know, in that sense. And in that, it's not too late to start that I can't put together a solid, funny 20 minutes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
I know there's nothing, we always say there's nothing sadder than a 40-year-old middle act.
That's not true, because there's a lot of 40-year-olds that want to be a fucking middle act and they aren't.
In that sense, too, like we talk about thresholds of success. Mine are different. I'm on a bit of a different kind of pathway, I think, and I kind of know what I want to do. And this is one of the things that it's important to me in order to get to that spot. That it's, you know, this is part of it. This is part of it.
So, like, when you were a younger man, setting trucks on fire and stuff, were you like the class clown? Were you were like a funny dude back then, always cracking jokes and everything?
Yeah, wise ass. Sure, I think we all, you know, anybody that kind of does this has always had a bit of the quick mind and in that seeing the absurdity and stuff and the. You know, we're just built with a bigger gear, a quicker gear, I think, comics and stuff like this. And it comes with a weirder form of intelligence. It's more of a dirt bike intelligence and less of an ocean liner intelligence.
I understand,
you know what I mean? And with that comes, you know, the headaches. I didn't do very well in school and stuff like this. And I'm sure a lot of us got the same thing with, had the potential to do so much more.
Yeah.
And I'd always shoot back. So do you, stupid. You know?
Shows potential, but is actually really
and that's
shitty.
fine. But I just didn't do well in school. And that was always kind of a thing. That I couldn't figure out why, because I thought, you know, I figure I'm pretty fucking crack whip. I'm pretty smart here, and you know, so the part of this, you know, the being the funny thing, I guess that was a bit of a defense mechanism in that respect too. And then when I hit the streets after high school, and I didn't graduate high school, I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna be a millionaire before I'm 30. So, fuck 'em.
Yeah, well. True enough.
It all came clear to me when I was 14. You know, what are they called? Those I don't know if they have
moment of clarity.
Well, you know,
we still have those.
Epiphany, no. The what do they call it when somebody's teaching you your career? The career counselor in high school.
Career and life management.
I'm
or whatever
14,
it is.
and I go in there, and he goes, "I want to give you some direction in your career." And I'd already been cooking for about a year and a half now, and knowing it was a pretty good calling for me. And so I asked him, I go, "What do you drive?" And he goes, "An Airy K car." I'm like, "I'm fucking out of here."
He drives a K car.
Yeah, I'm fucking out of here.
Nice.
What are you gonna tell me?
Automobile.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
true enough.
That's definitely something that I've learned is you never take advice from somebody who is dumber from you, because either it's bad advice or you're not going to respect it anyways.
Yeah.
Well, and that's
or you find they're actually smarter than you, their advice blows your mind, and you get depressed.
But we're all
Yeah, that's just terrible. But with that in mind, like you seemed very focused. Like at that age, you knew what you wanted to be. When I was a kid, I want to be like a policeman or a firefighter or, loved by my parents. There were a lot of goals, and I really struggled a lot before I figured out where I was going to go and had like some moderate success there. Where did that focus come from? Were you just like...
Fear of failure. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I don't know. It still have it. Yeah, we all. I think it's a healthy. I think it's a healthy behavioral trait to some degree, and fear of failure. I had dropped out of high school. You know what I mean? I had parents that loved me. I had no reason to fuck up. You know
Nothing
what I mean?
holds back creativity like loving parents.
Well,
that's the worst.
Perhaps. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I had to go out and show them that they didn't raise an asshole and go out and fucking. At least I could work hard.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. You know what I mean? There was no pretty way to say, I opened my first restaurant at 22, and then there was no pretty way to do it. I fucking saved a bunch of money. I borrowed a bunch of money. I begged for a bunch of money, and I was over budget and paid the rest back through cash flow, and, and just kept it rolling.
Yeah. There you go.
And buy another one and buy another one.
Yeah. Self-made man.
And then you realize how miserable it can make you as well.
Yeah, exactly. What's that? All work and no play.
Sure. Well, it's a weird psychology. I think sometimes that I don't want to say indoctrinated with, because that sounds of something a bit more sinister, but that's I don't think that's the case. I just think it's sort of a rub off of sort of our neighbors from down south. That's sort of what should be our focus, and not personal growth or personal growth. I think a lot of that can be said when we talk about, trying to make better societies and whatnot. And it's pretty easy to point and all that stuff, but I don't see a lot of people, looking after their own shit.
Well, speaking of growth, having seen you do comedy and just like sitting and talking with you about like what you've done, you have a lot of work ethic and a lot of drive. What do you really take on stage with you? Like how do you grow as a comedian? What tools do you use there?
I'm so new at this and still so shitty at this. I'll be honest. My head process right now is remember this joke. Okay. Now say it. Now make a little bit of eye contact. Now remember the next joke. Now say it. Yeah. I'm not fucking with you. That is, it's as terror filled as I'm shuddering just thinking about it. I have horrible stage fright.
It's the biggest fear in the world, man.
You play it
Everybody
off
has it.
so
it's overcompensation.
The
is
way
what it is.
The way
good,
that you deal with it is good, because it took me a long time before I figured that out, because I was very panicky and jittery on stage. And you seem to go up there and kind of have a cool hand Luke about you. You just nice calm breath, go into the joke, good cadence and everything. You have a tempo, a natural tempo that you take on stage.
Well, I didn't last night, but thank you for saying so.
I did not see you last night.
Oh boy, did they hate me, Maddie.
Where were you at?
I did a spot for Connie at the Fort Kent Lounge.
Ooh.
And I've been writing a bunch of new jokes about Trudeau and his election and stuff like this. I'm not pro-con or anywise. It's just as what's happening today. So my jokes are being written. And if they come off pro, they come off however they come off.
Yeah.
And my audience was certainly not that kind of demographic. Let's just say they think like I'm dressed right now. If you know what I mean?
Casual.
Feel me?
I get to see what's happening here.
Okay. So I got into it a little bit, and one gal, just waiting for the squeeze. So one gal made a point of vocalizing how she didn't like some of my views on the world.
Oh,
I get mean, huh? I don't know, because I don't know. I'm not skilled enough to steer it back on to course. Do you know what I mean? I'm just so shitty at this still that it's just so easy for me to get knocked off my pins.
See, it took me a while, and what I did was I looked at it like there's storytelling comedy, there's one-liner comedy, there's crowd work comedy, there's like riffing and spontaneous comedy, and like I just wanted to try everything I could and try it for like a week or a month until I could get successful with it. And then I wrote down and kind of journaled what I did to get successful and move on to the next. Because much like with cooking, you can't just have great spaghetti. You have to be able to make what the people want. You're not always, whatever you bring to the table isn't always going to be perfect for that audience. But if you have the versatility in your set and you've got like a lot of places you can go,
no question,
you're not going to be the best comic, but you're on any show, you're going to be far from the worst. So I always, that's something I sought out in comedy.
In that skill set of learning how to ski in all different types of snow,
Yeah.
not even close. I'm not even close. Not even
But,
close.
I mean, that can take a while, and it took me like I had to go through a mental breakdown and getting like fist fight outside of a bar and like have the love of my life leave me before I felt that I could really open up and be who I am on stage. So it took like my entire life getting flipped, turned upside down.
Hopefully my breakthrough isn't as dramatic as yours. Just
Sometimes it just takes time. Sometimes it's all blood, sweat, and tears, but it comes. And I mean, it's one of those strange things where you just you don't know what it's going to be.
yeah.
There's no like uniform advice. Like when I started doing comedy, I was not good. I still have my first recording of my first set ever, and it's painful to watch. It is horrible to listen to. And I just can't. But in me watching it and then going out to the open mics and seeing people who are just starting out and everything, it gives me like this whole. I don't judge them as harshly because I know like I was there. Everybody was there. Nobody started out.
Oh, my meritocracy is simple with all comics. It's fucking is it make me laugh or does it not? For me, that's I don't give a shit about anything else. I really don't. You know, and I think a lot of times I think that gets missing. It's a weird involuntary response, laughter, man. It hits a spot in our brain. I don't know what the fuck it's for.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Evolutionary wise, like what the fuck. But I know it feels good when I do it, and it feels fucking great when somebody hits my tuning fork. You know,
and I mean, baby,
right? You know?
Yeah, babies do it before they even have a language center.
Absolutely.
Before they understand words, there's laughter. So
it's something innate about something very connective about music. You know what I mean? You say the same thing about when you play music for a baby, same thing, and you can make a baby laugh, and those are positive, good feelings. So you can't, you have to think, if you're a spiritual cat or not. This has to be the right path in the sense that you're creating good feelings as opposed to, I'm not implying to be a fucking prison guard, right? You can be a part of different ways.
Well, what it is it's a sociological experiment where you're eliciting an emotional response from a group of people based off of the words, presentation of those words, and physical appearance of the person. So it's a science that is too much art to be taught.
Couldn't put it better myself.
Okay, and on that, we're going to take a little break here.
Hey, everybody. If you like this episode, let's start over. Hey, everybody. If you like podcasts and you like me, go to...
Yeah, you like me.
I don't care.
The anonymous voice.
I literally don't know what
podcasts in your face every day. Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening. Use your hands to go to your keyboard and then use your face to look at the internet. Now use your hands again to type in northerncontentnetwork.com. Now use your ears to listen. And use your heart to love. I don't know. I can't do this.
I was booked for the show. Howie Miller was hosting. I went up, and right before I go up, she goes, "Oh, Nick, we need you to be clean." And I'm like, "Well, I can't do that." No notice whatsoever. Just like literally as I'm being introduced. And I'm like, "I can't do that." She's like, "Well, just, whatever." So I go into the audience, and I'm playing with the audience a bit, and I start talking, and I was like, who's this? And he's like, "This is my lover. We fuck." And I'm like, you guys fuck? And I talked to them, and they brought it up. They did that. So
the seal's broken.
Yeah, so I just played with them, and they loved it. They laughed it, and I got off. It's like, you were supposed to be clean, and you said fuck like 5 times, and you said this, and I'm like, I didn't talk about like feather dust in a nun's twat. I didn't talk about like pushing a fucking sewer pickle on my asshole. I didn't talk about darts at a tuna well. Like seriously, I can be creative with my language and be filthy. I just followed what they did. And she was like, "Well, I don't think I can pay you for that." I'm like, "No, you agreed to pay me, and then you added a circumstance immediately before I went on stage trying to derail me, and I dealt with it very good. They loved it. Like, no, pay me what you fucking agreed to. I just did 20 minutes of comedy. They laughed for 20 minutes. Give me the money." And I don't know what the fuck her deal was, but I was like, "No, this is what you agreed to. This is what you pay."
Connie's a good chapter in our movie, everybody. For real. She's straight out of Central Casting. You know what I mean? She looks like a pageant mom.
Yeah.
Yep, all the time.
I can't tell if Connie's 22 or 60.
How old is that Brian? That should be a good...
Right? What the fuck's up with that? There's something going on in that household. There's some swings, you know, they did into the frame.
The first few times I met Brian, I didn't know it was Connie's husband. I thought he was just a drunk guy wandering around being real friendly with everyone.
Fucking probably have seen Brian and had no idea and thought he was around.
Figure
I
out
don't
every
know.
time he sees her vagina, he pukes. You know what I mean? He's the gay. He's closet as fuck, right? We all,
Oh yeah.
Fuck, I need to go back to a Connie room and now like realize who this person is.
It's her husband.
Because I'm sure I've seen him.
She's harmless because do you know what I mean? And she's nice and all that stuff. I'm not here to shit on anybody doing any kind of like this. But the way she starts the show is just she has to bring it. She just sabotages sometimes. We just have such an uphill battle.
She didn't. The only times that I've been there, she didn't even do any material off the top.
She ran a room
anything really
in a strip club on Wednesday nights at 11 o'clock. So she goes on stage at the strip club in between the strippers and is like, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do some comedy now. If you could please put your hands together and welcome your first comedian, Nick McQuik. And I go up and like it's your uphill fucking battle. I get like 2 laughs in 10 minutes and then I have to get off and the stripper goes up. And then
Can I be the audience?
I want to
Corner Coco!
Yeah. I wanted to be the fucking audience.
Stand up as they like
But
slutty and idly
the
scat,
4 comics that
stand
were
around,
remaining there,
slide
2
around the
left.
pole.
They just
Actually
bailed. They're like,
do
I don't want to do
stand up,
this.
and then
So
just
I stuck
kinda
around. She brought up another comic, then brought me back up.
And you got a dry
That's
hand
like
job
how
from
I
a stripper.
fidget.
Turned out to be a good fucking day.
I had to keep going up.
two
She
lifestyles
eventually
are
canceled
like-
that because no comics would show up. It'd just be me.
I feel like
That's a good way to earn your stripes, though. Fuck me, man.
Oh, I'm like, I gotta do well here eventually.
If you guys want to start, we're ready to go.
Yeah. Okay.
A lot of money, right?
well, if you're
Oh.
good.
What if you're good? What if you're bad? Then it's just weird. But, like,
Are you guys talking about stripping and doing
Levels
comedy?
are okay too with the bell.
I was like, what if I did like comedy, but like kind of strippery? Like I didn't really strip.
Like,
Like I
if you
just
were to-
wore a kind of slutty outfit and just kind of like
Let's put it on the air.
half-heartedly
I wanna hear what
wandered
goes on
around
the air
a
if you're
pole.
gonna take- you know.
Yeah, we're on the air now.
Are we
But
good?
yeah, if like, are you talking about going up doing comedy, dropping your pants and eating hot dogs out of your underwear?
No.
Because I've done that. That's my bit.
Yeah, no. I'd just be like in some fucking stripper-esque outfit and preferably with glitter. And then like just kind of like do jokes, like straight up do comedy, but just have a pole there and maybe be like half-heartedly wandering around it and swinging whatever the fuck I feel like
here's how that would go.
For comedy in strip clubs too, though.
As soon as you start doing any kind of stripping and you start making those mad Benjamins, you're going to be like, you know what? Fuck jokes. I don't need to tell jokes. I don't know what I was doing with my life. I need to get all the cocaine and I need to have
Feel like
all
basically
of the
my question is this a
I'm sorry, I'm
shameless
stuck
enough
on
grab for attention
Benjamins.
that I get enough attention?
Benjamin.
American hundredths. It's
Yeah,
slang for
Benjamin
making
Buttons.
those large bills.
No, I get that. It's just Ben Germans.
Yeah, Ben Germans. Yeah,
I'm sorry.
you remember the Holocaust with all those Ben Germans?
I don't like to mix my pleasures. You know what I mean?
Holocaust and stripping. You don't like to mix those.
When it comes right down to it, you know, you remember that episode of the, you know, Costanza wanting to eat a sandwich while he's being, you know, that's not me. I like pretty one or the other.
Yeah.
Like even those sex. Anybody here been to Thailand before?
No.
Okay, so they got those bizarre sex shows, right?
Yep.
I spent 2 nights in Bangkok. I hire a driver from my hotel. Right, I stayed at a very nice hotel, and I tell the driver, I go, listen, because I was flying out to an island to play in this Pro-Am golf tournament the next morning. Never been to Thailand before, and I go, listen, there's been a lot said about this place. You know, I go, the first night I go, I want you to show me all the beauties. Like, I want to see the floating garden, I want to see the palace, I want to see the night market, all that stuff. And I go, on the second night, I want to see how fucked up this place is. You know what I mean? I want to see if there's not a dart coming out of something it's not supposed to be coming out of. You've taken me out of the wrong fucking place, right?
I want to see how far ping pong balls go.
All of it. You know what I mean? And I know like the ping pong ball economy has to have been hurting in Bangkok since the internet, is what I'm saying. Like in the 70s and 80s, that would be a draw. Don't you think? But now, like, we're all so desensitized. It's just just ping pongs. You know, you're not doing.
It's still hard to book a live show though. Those are still special.
100%. So the second night, my driver, who was a really good dude, took me to one of those places, and you don't feel safe. That was the only place the whole time in Thailand I didn't feel safe.
Yeah.
Where like if you start swinging, you're gonna die. You know what I mean? Like in that sense. Like usually, I always think I can punch my way out of any kind of situation and just run and punch. You know what I mean?
Run and punch.
Run and punch. Like
Run and punch.
I
The
hate,
David Husereau's
I hate to say it, but you know, you always when you go into a weird place, you're always looking for an exit, and you're always you know kind of thing. And this is one of those situations. So the first act comes out on stage, and the lady was
How many legs?
2 legs.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
The really interesting dynamic was I was the only white dude in the place. It was all
that's
Asian.
like me at a cockfight.
All Asian folk. And in the front row, like where you would have sort of a stripper promenade in that sort of sense, all middle-aged Thai women. Isn't that weird, right?
Wow.
And that's what I thought as well. So this lady comes out, does a little dance, and has all the accoutrement you would regularly expect from a stripper place kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the pole business, and then began to squat over a piece of paper and maneuver a felt that she had produced without our knowledge. And drew a picture on said paper of a I can't remember like the slang term for Thai people for like a middle-aged white balding dude, that kind of thing, and then presented it, and we all clapped and threw money, and she went off, and then the next act came out.
Wow, it's like a real talent show.
It is a legit, and like that is. There was some sort of pulling out of the razor blade business, you know, on a string kind of.
Oh my mother!
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. It was horrific. Like I'm not painting a picture that this was a fucking circus, kids. Like this was a goddamn nightmare. And they
that would be so useful in like a fight situation, though, to just suddenly have like a whole bunch of razor blades on a wire.
It is a
out of
special type
nowhere. They frisk you at the door, but you
it is a superhero. Then there was
Somehow
the,
get it in.
It's like it's GHB revenge.
There was a ping pong lady that came out next. After the ping pong lady was the dart lady, and the dart lady was sort of like a blow dart situation.
Oh, she
and
can queef the darts. Yeah,
queef the darts and blow out balloons.
yeah.
And then the
That's the name of my next band. Queef the Darts.
And then the headliner was just a live sex show.
Oh yeah.
Where the Thai stud came out and performed a full-on sex act on the stage to Shania Twain.
Oh, well, there you go. That
don't impress me much.
Yeah. Those women in the front row, that's what they were there for. That's what they had
that
to
is
have been
that
there
is
for.
the probably the biggest thing I remember from that fucking trip was the fact that it was he was blasting this poor young thing while she's just holding onto the pole for dear life.
God, that'd be you should definitely talk about that on stage. That's fucking funny. Oh God.
And the thing is too, the first time I went for a massage in Thailand, like the thing
one
is,
of the tongue massages. Right?
I thought it was, you got to appreciate, like when you're preloaded with misconceptions, you expect, you know what I mean? You have certain
Oh yeah, you expect to rub and
ideas,
tug at every massage
right?
place, but it's
so like I said, I'm there for a golf tournament, so I land in Bangkok. We got my 2 nights, so then I go to Koh Samui where this thing is. I meet these 2 blonde girls in the airport flying from Bangkok to Koh Samui, and they're the granddaughters of the and blah 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 blah. Hyper attractive girls, and they're like, "We've wanted to take you for massage business," kind of thing. I want to go for a massage. I go. They're on. Nobody's been to Thailand. I'm sorry if I'm a little drunk right now. They're on either side of me. We're only separated by like a thin sheet kind of thing because we're all getting masseused.
Oh, like the rice paper wall kind
Right.
of thing? Yeah,
That kind of business sort of thing. And it's a full on, the elbow business in the back and the neck. And at some point, roll over. So I roll over, and the young lady did the old tap, tap, tap. And
is this a young David who doesn't know what that means?
This is, when somebody taps my dick and kind of points to my wallet, I can pretty much do the math.
It's a universal language, isn't it?
I thought it was.
Dick touching?
And I can't remember at any occasion that I had ever said no thank you. Anytime anybody had tapped, said junk.
It's not like Thanksgiving where you're like, I've had too much.
And that's true. I like to think I'm known as one that always has one in the chamber.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, no, I've had too much hand job today.
Old school gentleman kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. You present for the ladies.
And so said act is completed, and which is a thing too because I have a history of being quite vocal. And quite over the top in my expression of how much fun I'm having.
I can only imagine the slurs you called her.
And And the fact that I had to force this pillow in my face, I'm not even kidding you. 2 seconds later, as we're doing the biohazard material has left the building, the one gal that I went to the thing pulls the sheet and goes, "Isn't this amazing?" Like if she would have just pulled that sheet, like 2 seconds later, she would have had brain damage. She would have never recovered from. She would have.
She might have caught a hot yogurt load.
Her DNA would have been so affected to the core, her kids would have died of perversion. Right? Fuck. That was, yeah.
You're really selling me on Thailand, you know?
Yeah, jerked off in Thailand.
Yeah. Gotta go all the way to the north end for that here in Edmonton.
I don't think I could. I honestly, like, I don't think I could keep a rod here doing that. You know what I mean? I would have too many things spinning through my cycle up top. You know what I mean? Like, that wouldn't feel like a massage. That would feel like, okay, I'm in a real bad position of advantage here.
It would feel like
I'm on an episode of Intervention.
It would almost feel like a trap.
I'm on my face is pixelated out on Intervention.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm giving her $80 to tug at my foreskin and tell me how much she hated my high school homework. You know?
But I mean, like, I've been for massages, physiotherapy, and all that stuff. I've been tug physiotherapy, which is a completely different thing. But
what's that?
Like you go for physiotherapy, like, and they
jerk you off,
stretch you out, and then.
Like as a therapy, if I was a handicapped guy, I would want my fucking insurance to pay for that shit.
Yeah,
because I get cranky as fuck. Seriously, we all do. I get fucking backed up. If I'm a fucking handicapped dude and I couldn't reach my cock and blast one out, I'd fucking lose my shit.
Oh yeah, if you have no hands, like what do you do?
So Nick, you tell me where the clinic is, and David, you hit me with the car.
But the whole culture that exists there, some of those people, there's a weird glamorization in porn and everything, and it sets a very
Not
high
the porn I watch.
You're actually watching bum fights. That's not porn.
Hey, listen, when they're from the third world and they're just making eye contact with the camera with their dead eyes, you know what I mean? Like that's
when they're just imagining the food they'll
like
get
a doll's eyes, you know what I mean? They're like,
glassed over. Oh my god. Where they're too hungry to be upset with the things that are happening.
Why is that other guy filming me? I don't understand this. It's horrible.
Makes me feel just
you're talking
like
about the glamours of porn.
Oh yeah, no,
2% uncomfortable.
I was talking about the like when you like.
It'd be funny if this is a Christian podcast and I was just finding out now.
Yeah.
Shit would really went off the fucking rails.
This is showing at the church every Sunday. But when like a woman looks at you and she's missing like she looks like kind of Ty Domi. That's a hockey player who's famous for fighting.
I got that one.
Yeah, okay, but she looks a little Ty Domi-ish, and she's like, hand job? And you're like, well, it's kind of like you got to be a gentleman. And you're like, it's just money. And then you watch this hideous troll of a woman trying to breathe life into this flaccid thing it's like an inverted erection. It's like a turtle's head trying to go back in. It's so afraid of what these calloused man hands are doing to it. And you're like, all right, this doesn't happen to me. So, and it's just, I think it's the expectation of it. Like, in Thailand, I'm sure that they've got like they probably have some hideous trolls too, but they have some like beautiful ladyboys, and that would get me there for a hand job.
Their ladyboys are really pretty.
I know, they're astonishingly beautiful.
What's fascinating about their culture in that respect, not to take a serious turn, but it's a weird mentality that they have about their own sexuality. They don't see any of it as a big deal in that sense. Even about the like hermaphroditism and stuff like this, it's just a natural derivation of another subsect of their sexuality, and that's why partially it comes with the like, you know, we can laugh about getting jerked off by and stuff like this, but the whole, you know, we're fucking apes. We're just fucking apes. Like, honestly, let's just really just get the fuck over ourselves and they realize they're, you know, like in that culture, they realize that they're not so fucking hung up on it because they never got colonized by anybody else. You know what I mean? And they didn't get all our shitty fucking ideas and fucking polluting their minds about, you know, our dicks and vaginas and all that shit.
They didn't get
part of life.
20 Bibles worth of shame dropped on
Right?
them to hold them down.
Right?
Your filthy body is
I mean,
filthy.
I lived in Hawaii for 5 years, and a lot of fucking weird stories came off those fucking islands just because of the the Christian fucking the come-overs and stuff like this.
Yeah.
You know, the Kiavi wood on the islands of Hawaii were only brought over because they had produced these huge fucking thorns because they wanted the local Hawaiian people to wear shoes like fucking gentlemen and ladies. You know what I mean? Fuck that.
That's literally so fucked up.
Right? Isn't that fucking right?
That's
Wow.
White people are the worst.
Except
you
for us.
guys are.
Like, except for us.
I'm a ginger. You guys kicked me out of the club. I used to be white.
And stay out.
As white people have, you know, we've built some bridges and put some people on moons, but you know, we're batting 500.
You built some bridges and then put all the people of one color on those bridges.
I'm not taking responsibility for anything. You funny people keep talking. I'm gonna go empty fucking Nick's fridge of beer here.
Okay. Top shelf's where the beer is.
Can you do me a favor and bring me one too, please?
By all means. Anybody else need anything?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
World peace.
World peace? Sorry, man. No, not happening.
I just edited that out then.
World peace will happen when there are no more white people.
Good.
That's all I have to say about that.
I thought it was a comma. It was a period.
World peace will happen when we all adopt the Vulcan way.
Is that like
the opposite of white?
Is that a 30-minute workout or like what is the Vulcan
when we
way?
all become Vulcans.
Ugh, that sounds hard. Painful.
McQuik has 9 different brands of beer in his fridge. We're all a fucking frat kid.
I don't like to have 2 of the same beer in my fridge. I just have.
Why are you buying caseloads at fucking
No, I just I shoplift them.
Yeah, 6 of 1.
No, the thing about Nick is he loves to just settle down with like 5 beers after a hard day's work. Not 4, not 6, but 5.
You ever have a 5-pack?
Doesn't make him a bad person.
It's my 18th birthday. I got my dad a 5-pack of beer.
When I was 16 for Christmas, I got 6 Budweiser underneath the tree. True story.
Nice.
That's beautiful.
that's how that is an absolute true story.
Albertan.
That is full on fucking small town Alberta.
I went to Big Rock, Alberta, and I was there with my grandma, and we went to a restaurant, and the waiter came by and asked the order. And she was in the washroom, and I ordered 2 beers, and she came back and had the one, and I had the other, and she was like, "Did you just trick them? And you're buying? I'm buying you a beer." I'm like, "No, I'm buying the first round. You get the second one, Grandma."
My grandmother hated the shit out of me at the end there.
Yeah,
and I understood why when we were playing. We used to play cribbage. You like cribbage?
Oh yeah, 15,
right?
Yeah, 7 and 8 or 15.
And
go
then and then we started playing Trivial Pursuit.
Oh, that'll wreck a family.
That fucking wrecked it. Because
yeah, don't do that.
I roll 4, and I can choose between history or entertainment, and I choose entertainment.
Yeah.
You know, I may not know when France got fucking liberated. The fucking Flintstones.
Which time?
Right in the front of my head, though.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah. Oh no! We used to do Trivial Pursuit with the grandma and some aunts and some other bullshit, you know, all that people. And it was a box of wine and Trivial Pursuit, and it was a game to try and finish the box of wine before a fist fight started.
Did the fist fight usually happen when the wine? The more the wine,
if you could finish the wine, then have a fist fight.
Is there a lot of booze in your house going on?
Oh yeah,
really? Yeah.
Well, I know if it's a gift horse, you're not supposed to look at it in its foreskin.
Don't look at gift horse in the foreskin.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
And other mixed metaphors here on the Quick and Slow podcast.
We forgot the name.
It's a comedy show. It rhymes. Or rhymes.
Okay, guys, as always, our music is done by Ben Sound, audio touch-ups and engineering done by Triptych Winter. Thank you very much for listening to the podcast. We had a wonderful time making it. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to it. If you could go to our Facebook page and hit like on that, or Twitter and follow us or some such, it actually kind of helps out. Or if you're on iTunes, like, favorite, subscribe, rate, review, I don't know, do something. Just do things, okay? Thank you very much.
Okay, knock, knock, guys.
That's a normal thing.